Welcome back, everyone, to Bronx Talks. Today we have a very special episode, one of our best yet. We are so excited, so let's jump right into it. Christian, would you like to introduce our guests?
I sure would. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a treat for you today. We are joined by a four-time All-Star. He had 288 wins as a starter. And he is a pioneer in the sport as the first player to have a surgery that now bears his name and has saved thousands of careers with it. The one and only Tommy John.
Guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Tommy?
Great.
I'm doing fine, thank you.
All right.
All right, you want to get right into it?
Let's do it.
Let's go.
All right. So, Tommy, the first question we have for you. Now, obviously, we want you to get in the Hall of Fame. It's one of the reasons we're doing this. If you were, and what we hopefully you do, go in the Hall of Fame, what cap would you go in with? What team would you go in as a Hall of Famer?
I don't have that call. You can thank Dave Winfield and Reggie Jackson, two teammates of mine, who sold their caps.
Real.
Sold them. And the Hall of Fame said, you don't make money off of us. And I understand that. So now the Hall of Fame tells you what cap you will wear.
Oh, okay.
Real. So
I would think probably it would be Yankees.
Uh-huh.
But I can't say for sure. I don't know.
Interesting.
So yeah, go ahead.
No, you can go, Christian.
Going along with all the Hall of Fame stuff, I assume you saw Bonds, Clemens, and going back a little, Pete Rose. What are your thoughts on them not being in the Hall of Fame?
Well, if you look at the rules, Clemens and Bonds and all those guys broke the rules of baseball. And the Hall of Fame is making them pay for it. I think eventually they'll get in. Pete Rose, though, I don't think will ever get in because of the betting aspect.
Yeah.
You know, and everybody said, yeah, but he never bet on his team or against his team. And my contention is, yes, he did. And here's why I say that. Okay, he's going along as manager. And he's betting big bucks on all of his pitchers. And he comes to a pitcher that he doesn't like on this game. So he doesn't bet. Well, if you're a gambler and you look at that, they're going, whoa, wait a minute. Why doesn't he like his team on this game?
Sure.
So actually, he is telling the gamblers, the big guys who have the big bucks, that he is gambling and telling, I don't like this, so I won't bet. And therefore he's telling them, I don't like the play. And you know, I mean, it's just, once you get into that, you can't get back out of it. And I just, you know, there's a rule in baseball, and it's been up forever, about gambling on baseball. You're permanently ineligible. Well, the word permanently ineligible means permanently ineligible. That's all.
So for the steroids, you think guys like Alex Rodriguez too? You think these guys belong in the Hall of Fame or not? The steroids.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Oh, but A-Rod might get on the Shark Tank, and they might buy a ball club, and then he can. I don't know. It's, you know,
it's definitely complicated, all this.
Yes. Tommy, I have another question, like similar to that. Obviously, David Ortiz just went in first ballot, and he actually tested positive for steroids. once. So what's your take on that with Ortiz getting in, who tested positive for steroids, but other guys who have done steroids not getting in? What's your take on that?
Uh,
Roger never got tested. Never.
I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know. I really have no idea. But Major League Baseball gave themselves a big puddle to jump over, and I don't think they've jumped over it yet.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You got anything else, Christian, on steroids or?
No, that's all I got.
All right, so the next thing we're gonna talk about, Tommy, is obviously one of your good teammates, your catcher, Thurman Munson,
Yeah.
and obviously he was a great player for the Yankees. Everyone loved him. He was an icon on that team. What was his death and impact on you and the team?
Well, I remember that Thursday when he crashed his plane and died. Steinbrenner called me up at my home in New Jersey, sobbing hysterically that Thurman had died. And oh man. So the next day we go to the ballpark and we're playing Baltimore. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And Monday was the funeral. And the guys that knew Thurman, they said, Baltimore said, you guys can cancel the games if you want to. It's fine with us. And a lot of players said, oh, that would be good. Give us a time. And the guys that knew Thurman said, if Thurman had any idea that we were going to cancel games, not play games because of his death, he would be so pissed. And the best thing we can do as a team is play for Thurman. Play for Thurman. And I pitched Sunday, and I didn't pitch great, but I won. And I remember Monday going to the funeral, and man, that was tough because here it is, your buddy, it was devastating.
Certainly a great guy, great teammate,
Yep.
great person. Like you said, heard nothing but great things about him. Chris, would you like to get into our next segment?
Sure. We Tommy, what a lot of people know you for is the surgery. I think almost any casual baseball fan knows the term Tommy John. So, my question to you is, how do you feel that maybe some people overlook your career because they just know you for the surgery? I mean, do you like being associated with it? What's your...
I do, simply because Dr. Job is associated with it. And not only was he a great surgeon, but he was a personal friend of mine. And I'm honored that Dr. Job named the surgery after me. And, and I will carry that as long as I'm alive.
Yeah. It's
Certainly.
pretty awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, before leading up to your surgery, Tommy, you had a 13-3 record, 2.59 ERA for the NL West leading Dodgers. And then I believe in the third inning against the Expos, July 17th, you heard your arm pop, and you said, "The strangest sensation I had ever known, as if my body continued to go forward and my left arm had just flown out to right field independently of the rest of me." What do you really mean by that and that quote? And what was it like? What was that feeling when you felt that in your arm?
What did I mean by it?
Yeah, like what do you mean by it, and what did it feel like in your arm?
What I said. It threw, and right as I came forward to put, to throw my 105-mile-an-hour fastball, um, I, I didn't hear a pop. I felt it pop, and I've never had that kind of pain ever. I mean, I've had sore elbows, and I pitched through them, but oh my God, I've never had. And I threw one more pitch, not being a brilliant guy, but I had one more pitch. I threw it and got right to the same thing, and the ball just kind of blooped up to the plate. And I walked off the mound, and Walt Alston comes to me, and I said, "Walter, I've hurt my elbow. Get somebody else in."
So
And I go to
yeah.
Philly, get Dr. Job, and he said, "I've already signaled for him." And and I get to the clubhouse, and Dr. Job is there waiting for me, and we go into the trainer's room, and there were all the guys and press and everybody. And Dr. Job just said, "Well, soak your arm and come see me tomorrow," because he didn't want to examine me, have all the press go crazy. He just said, "Come see me tomorrow." So I did. I um, to see Dr. Job, and he put my arm and took my forearm and moved it. And he said, "Well," he said, I think you've torn the ligament in your elbow." And I said, "Really? What are we looking at?" And he said, "Well, I don't want to say anything now, but I want you to go see this hand and wrist surgeon."
Tommy, we're having a little bit of a tough time hearing you.
Hearing me?
Yeah, now it's good.
Yeah, it just got better.
Okay.
Just as I said that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, maybe
I was
hold the
leaning
phone
it
up.
on I was leaning it on my fat stomach, and I think the fat had something to do with it.
yeah, I think that.
But anyway, Dr. Job was more concerned about me and my family, soon to be family, than he was me pitching again. And I asked him, I said, what can we do? And he said, "Well, probably we should have to do a ligament replacement surgery." And I said, "Have you ever done it before?" And he said, "Well, I have on polio patients on the knees and ankles, but I haven't on an elbow of a major league pitcher." And my thing to him was, "Let's do it. Let's get it done." I said, "If you do your job, I will more than do my job of rehabilitation, more than do mine." And he said, "Okay, we'll do it." And we did it.
So
September 25th, 1974.
is it
Wow.
true he said you had a 1 in 100 shot of it being successful?
Yeah, he gave me, and the reason he said that is he didn't want me to think that I was going to come back and pitch again,
Yeah.
like before. And that's why he said you got a 1 in 100 chance. He just wanted me to know the odds of me pitching again were slim to none, but Slim won out.
So in your
Wow.
mindset, this was the only option. You had to go for it if you wanted to keep pitching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I tried taking 3-4 weeks off, not throwing, and then come back and throw, but it didn't help. Usually if you tear something, you can wait that period of time, and it will heal slightly, and you can come back and maybe pitch, but not with this. This was gone. So
Was there anyone who was really supporting or against you getting the surgery?
no, it was between Dr. Job and me.
That was it? Makes sense.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else for surgery, Ryan? Any questions for Tom?
No, I think he summed it up nice. Answered all my questions about it.
Okay.
Do you want to move to the general questions we got, Christian?
Yeah, we couldn't fit these in a category, but stuff we really wanted to know. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we just have some questions, general
Okay.
questions that we were wondering. So we'll start off, I guess. So obviously, your 3-year-old son, Travis John, throughout the first pitch, in game 3 was at the ALDS against Milwaukee,
Right.
and he was in during the national anthem. He was held by Reggie Jackson.
Right.
What was that like? Your son throwing out the first pitch. What did that mean to you?
Well, he had fallen out of a third-story window while we were playing the season, and Steinbrenner wanted him to throw out the first pitch, and he did, and he was a Reggie fan, and Reggie held him up and all that, but it was tough for me to see all this going on, and then the national anthem was over, and now I've got to go back out on the field and pitch. I mean, I'm crying like a baby, and I've got to go out and get myself ready to pitch. That was tough. That was very tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could only imagine. I mean, that to go out there in big league mound playoff game after what happened. I mean, that seems unbelievable to me.
Yeah. Tommy, what was
Yes, sir.
your favorite pitching staff that you worked with?
Might have been my little league staff.
Little League, really?
You guys, oh, come on, guys. I like our staff with the White Sox: Gary Peters, Joe Horland, Bruce Howard, John Buzzhart. They were a good bunch of guys to pitch with. Our pitching staff with the Dodgers: Sutton, Messersmith, Osteen, Al Downing, Tommy John. That was a good staff to pitch with.
Yeah.
Our pitching staff with the Yankees was a good staff. It was fun because you have fun winning, but I tell you, the pitching staffs were much better if we won than if we just scuffled around out there.
Yeah.
Going along with that, Tommy, what do you think really made you so great? Obviously, it must have been a lot of hard work.
Steroids.
Steroids?
Well, I knew what I was good at, and I knew what I was poor at, and I stayed away from what I was poor at, and I just went with what I was good at.
Yeah.
I wouldn't vary it. I only had 2 pitches. I had a sinker and a curveball.
Mm-hmm.
And and I threw him. And I remember one game Thurman was catching me. Excuse me, Johnny Oates was, and he said, "Your fastball stinks." He said, "So we're going to go with your curveball and just let them see a bunch of curveballs, and then your fastball will get better as we get into the game." Son of a gun, he was right, and I ended up pitching 9 innings. But I was kind of hard-headed in that I wouldn't let coaches change me. Johnny Sain wanted me to learn the slider, and I wouldn't do it because, one, I had a hard time throwing it, and I felt that if I worked on the slider, that my fastball and curveball would go downhill, and I didn't want that, so I stayed away from it.
So Tommy, when you only have 2 pitches, I mean, you see nowadays pitchers with like 5 pitches, and most outings, you only have like 3 or 4 pitches working for them. So what happens if the sinker or curve's not working? Do you just have to keep throwing it and figure it out?
Yep, that's it.
That's it.
Simple.
What are you going to do? Throw a straight fastball?
Ball only, Mick.
Not. I like that simple approach. My next question, Tommy, what was it like playing in the Yankees Red Sox rivalry, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, in sports? What was that like, getting to be a part of that?
I loved it. I loved going into I love pitching in Boston. And you pitch well, you shut those buzzards up, and but it was fun. It was, you knew you had to be on the top of your game to get ready to pitch and beat them, and that was fun. It was fun, and they played hard. We played hard, and they had a good bunch of guys too. Good bunch of guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tommy, who was your favorite teammate you played with? Ever. Your whole career.
Ever?
Yep. This might be too tough. Just one of your favorites.
Well, Tommy Agee was one. We came up in the minor leagues together, and then we were traded from the White Sox, from Cleveland to the White Sox together. Gary Peters, Joe Horland were really good friends, and Thurman was very good. You know, I was kind of a loner in that I never drank or went out to bars at night, so I didn't have friends like that I could that I could pal around with. I just most of my friends were neighbors from where we lived and all that. But you know, we had a good time, and I would do it over again if I could take a pill and it would bring me back to my youth. God, I would love it again.
That's awesome. Tommy, is there, my next question, what do you remember from your debut, your first game that you ever played, you know, for the Indians? What was that like? Were you nervous before your debut? Were you excited?
You mean as a start?
Yeah.
Because my first times that I pitched for them, I pitched out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
And starting, I was nervous until I got on the mound and started throwing, and then I calmed down and did what I've been doing all my life.
Yeah, it's a good answer.
Ryan, do you have anything else before I?
Yes.
All right.
A couple more. Tommy, is there anything you regret or wish you did differently in your career? Maybe like one moment, one game, something like that?
No, not really. I did better than what I thought I was going to do when I signed. And, you know, I just, I had a great time playing baseball. I regret nothing I did. I just wish I could have won more games.
Certainly.
And I want to tell you, you got to clean your room up, man.
Yeah, I got to get on that. I was trying to get a good setup for today.
I'd say no, you clean your room when Tommy John's telling you to do.
Yeah. I'm once we finish this call, I'll get on that for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
You got anything else, Christian?
Well, I have my final question that I'm
All right.
All right, Tommy.
Oh, final question. Okay.
Final question.
Here we go.
Your favorite moment from your entire career.
Pitching, two of them. Pitching to win the National League championship. I beat Steve Carlton and the Phillies in a rainstorm in Philadelphia. And you were talking about Boston Red Sox fans. Philly fans are worse. And it was so much fun to pitch well and shut those son of a guns up. Secondly, is being out on the field when my son Travis threw out the first pitch. That was kind of neat too.
Yeah, that must have been awesome.
Certainly.
Tommy, thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome.
Doing that.
We really appreciate it.
Okay, guys. Thanks for having me. Anytime.
All right.
Bye now.
Thank you.